I am about to show you how to give your agents in n8n access to the best model for researching literally anything on the internet. So this team of AI agents here not only is given access to Perplexity's deep research model, but it is also researching the latest AI news, sending it off for approval in my Slack channel to see if I want to make a video about it. Then, if I choose any of these topics that I would like to create a video about, it'll do even further research on that topic and then actually create a script for me and input it into my project management board and click up. So really quick, I just wanted to show you an example of one of these scripts that it had created for me. So last week, GPT 4.5 was released. So you can see up here at the top why GPT 4.5 is the must-know upgrade of 2025. It then generated a pretty short script for me. It's super important to keep in mind that all these videos have to be under 60 seconds. So they are going to be relatively short, obviously because they're for a short form. So it's saying OpenAI dropped GPT 4.5 and it's a game changer. This new update boosts pattern recognition, cuts down hallucinations, and responds with more emotional intelligence. It's designed with a broader knowledge base from science to pop culture and reduces errors significantly. For businesses, this means around a 20% improvement in tasks like data extraction, despite being a bit behind on technical reasoning compared to niche models. If you're curious about how this upgrade can transform your workflow, then check out the link in my bio. Then we have another topic that I approved that I would like to create a video on. So this one was tech giants pledged 320 billion for AI infrastructure in 2025. So the script here says in 2025, major tech firms are all in on AI with over 320 billion in investments. Here's the quick breakdown. Amazon is leading with 100 billion plus to supercharge AWS, its AI cloud service. Microsoft is set to invest 80 billion focused on US-based AI enterprises. Alphabet is putting in 75 billion. So you kind of get the idea. It was doing pretty thorough research on each of these topics. So if we scroll up here a little bit, we can see that it was getting some actual benchmarks of the improvement in task and everything like that. And if we would like, we can make this be even more thorough. So if I want my scripts to be a little bit more informative or maybe just more valuable overall, then all we have to do is just tweak the prompt a little bit. But really quick, I wanted to mention that if you want to get this template, then you can get this in my brand new community where we help you learn everything about AI automations and AI agents, giving you tutorials from a complete beginner's level to even expert level understanding. We even give you insights on real client projects, weekly office hours with me and my team, access to all my blueprints and templates, and a community of people who just want to be at the forefront of this new space. So if you are interested in it at all, then check out the link down below in the description. With that being said, let's get into this video showing you how you can give your agents access to Perplexity's DeepSeek and also how you can build a multi-agentic system like this, whether that's for building scripts for your own videos or building out newsletters or whatever else. So first things first, in this workflow, we are just starting off with a schedule trigger. So this is going to run my system every single day. What we're doing right here is we just search a schedule, used to be called Cron, and we're just pulling this up. So I'm just going to run this every single day at 6 a.m. You could change the triggers if you would like. You could add rules if you would like, but we're going to keep this pretty simple for the time being. Next up, for saying of this YouTube video, what I did is I just included an edit fields. You don't have to follow this, but I would recommend it. What I'm saying here is this is going to be essentially my prompt in my request that I'm going to be passing into Perplexity, passing it into my AI agent, if you will. What I say here is I need you to get the latest news surrounding AI, specifically regarding cool news that's not really political, software releases like OpenAI releasing new models, etc. News regarding new technology, tips from yesterday. Provide a summary of what you find and be sure in your answer. Be sure you're not being redundant. I aim to create social media videos based on what you find as I post about AI news that help drive revenue or create leverage in a business, and how to start/run an AI agency and sell AI solutions to companies. Ensure your responses are professional and absolute. Now, this probably isn't going to relate to you unless you are a content creator, but this is just what I've chosen for my particular use case. So this is just where you're going to include your own examples. Next, I am providing it access to today's date. So you can see right here, I just include double curly brackets, $ now, and that's going to give me today's date. Moving on, we're going into the research yesterday's news agent. So what we're doing right here is we're providing it a couple different variables. So each one is going to be from the former node, the edit fields node. We can see here we have the perplexity input, and then we have the date. Within the user input, that's where we put in the perplexity input right there, and the date, obviously, the second following line. Pretty simple, nothing too extravagant right here. If I open this up, the system message, what I say is you are to analyze the user input and make a call to the perplexity tool, passing the user input to that tool to do further research and return the information from that tool. You must pass both the user input and the date provided to you exactly the way you receive it to the perplexity tool. Now, before we dive into the output and what it has generated for me, let me show you what we are connecting to. Right away, we can see that I'm using OpenAI chat model connected to this agent, but we're also connecting perplexity. So this right here, it's not even too relevant. It's not even doing much besides just figuring out what to make calls to. So making that call to perplexity. All this tool down here is doing is connecting to a different workflow, which is right here. So I'll open up this different tab. And what we have right here is when executed by another workflow. So this node is just allowing these two workflows to connect to one another, to communicate essentially. So it's really just allowing us to pass information from this agent into this workflow right here. And what I do is I define it using fields below. What I want to get into this perplexity workflow is I want to get the user input from this edit fields node, and I also want to get the current date. Now, instead of having the AI decide what the field should be called and everything and have it constantly be changing, it's best to utilize this new tool, or this new feature, I should say, define using fields below. So n8n, I don't know how long ago may have released this, but what we're doing is we're selecting this as opposed to accepting all data, where if we accept all data, the fields could change. So this date field, it could be referred to as time, or user input, it could just be referred to as input. And that's pretty important because we have to later define those fields. So we're later defining them right here. So we have to provide the JSON user input. So the letters, the words, they have to be exact. So that's why we are using this, or define using fields below. And then we're just providing the date and a string as the type. Okay, nothing too complex. Within this tool that's connected to the AI agent, if you don't know how to connect this tool or where to find it, all you do is open up the agent. If you go into this tools section, you will find call n8n workflow tool right here. And then I just renamed it to perplexity. And I say, call this perplexity tool to do research. Usually you will want to be a little bit more thorough, a little bit more specific, but just because I only have one tool, we don't really have to get too crazy with the prompting and the descriptions, if you will. I mean, this isn't really known as a prompt, but anyways, source is going to be the database. You'll probably always be using that. It's easier to find. Workflow, which is called perplexity. In the user input, we're using n8n's new tool defined automatically by the model. So if I close this out, all we're doing is clicking this little magic button right here, and it's just automatically going to be defined for us. And yeah, that's all there is to it, really. If I back out now and I show you this next node, what we're doing right here is we are using an HTTP request to connect to perplexity. So if I open this up, you'll see I'm using a post request, and I input the endpoints of perplexity, which I will find from their website. So if I search up perplexity AI, we will want to go into our settings, and we'll go to API. Once we're on the screen, we're then going to go to the docs. And if you go to API reference, we will see right here that we will have the curl. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this. And if I go back into my n8n workflow, I'm just going to input the curl. I'm not going to do it again because I already have everything as I would like it. Now, the only things that you will be changing, it's actually only a few different things. So the model, the content, and the role content. I guess these are both role contents, but you'll be changing these three variables. You could also change the maximum amount of tokens if you would like, and the temperature. I changed mine to 5,000 because if we're using deep research, if you're not familiar with deep research, it uses a lot of tokens. And for us to allow it to perform to its best ability, we're going to have to give it access to a lot of our tokens. So I think like 4,000 or 2,000 would probably be fine, but let's just do 5,000, why not? Anyways, if we're copying that curl, we get something like this. Now we will see, if we just search up models, supported models, we will see we have all these different models right here. So we have Sonar Deep Research, Sonar Reasoning Pro, Sonar Reasoning, Sonar Pro, Sonar. Now, we want to use Deep Research as I've discussed 10 times already, but you could also choose the Reasoning Pro or the Sonar Reasoning. Or if you would like, you can just, let me show you really quick. If you would like, you can use Open Router to call Perplexity, but you won't be able to use the deep research. So that's why we're actually doing these HTTP requests, because there's no Perplexity internal node in n8n, unfortunately. So Open Router chat model, we can see that I have Perplexity Sonar and Perplexity Sonar Reasoning. So if you're going to be using anything but the deep reasoning model, then I would recommend to just use Open Router because it's a lot easier. But in any case, let's delete this and let's focus on using deep research. So we're just passing the inputs. As you can see, the user input is exactly what this edit fields user input was. So it was, I need you to get the latest news. We have the today's date, and now it is just passing it to this workflow. And all we do, once we input our API key, which is automatically going to be inputted if we have our curl, we'll just open this up again, drag and drop our user input, drag and drop the current date. I also provided the date right here as well. So I could probably remove that one, but it's all right for the time being. And then within the edit fields, what we do is we input the response of the Perplexity output into one field and the response of the citations in another field. So we're trying to separate the citations from the actual output, but sometimes this doesn't work to 100% of its capabilities, but that's just because I didn't prompt the agent to really understand that there's going to be two different outputs it should be expecting. So that's where it gets a little bit confused. But if you want to clear that up, then all you have to do is just provide a prompt saying like, there's going to be two different outputs or two different inputs that you will receive. And I would like you to keep parsing them as citations separately and also Perplexity output. But in any case, this is what we get. So here's the summary of the latest AI news from March 1st, 2025. So we can see that GPT 4.5 was released last week and all this other stuff. But before we continue, let's actually do a run of this and show you how it actually works. So I will preface that this Perplexity deep research, it normally takes about 2 to 3 minutes, even longer, to generate a response because it's searching through about 60 to 70 different sources and providing you with that answer. So let me go ahead and run this, and I will come back to you guys once it actually finishes running. But if I open this up really quick, we will see in the executions that it should be running properly. Right, so up at the top here, you can say that it's running for 20 seconds, and this will be ongoing for just a few minutes. So I'm just going to cut and come back to you guys in a few minutes. Okay, well, the system just finished running. As you can see, edit fields is all finished up. So we have the response citations in one column, response Perplexity output in another. So these citations are just the sources and everything. If I go back into this other workflow, let's pull up the results that we have actually received. So it's going to be a little bit discombobulated. Everything's just a little bit messy and hard to read, but let's try to move past that. Here's a summary of the latest AI news from March 3rd and March 4th, 2025, highlighting key software releases, technological advancements, and insights that can drive business leverage and assist in running AI agencies. Number one, Accenture collaborates with Aura's agentic prediction engine. So here's the details. Accenture Ventures has invested in and collaborated with Aura to integrate its Lumen platform, which uses multi-agent systems for simulating consumer behavior. The platform significantly enhances predictive analytics capabilities, allowing businesses to forecast purchasing patterns 15% faster than traditional methods. So I think this is relatively interesting. Number two, we have Microsoft Dragon Copilot launch for healthcare. Number three, we have Anthropic announces Series E funding. And let's see if we have some more. So we have number 5. I'm not sure where number 4 is. Okay, right here. ZTE Air DNA network solution unveiled. And number 5 being Google Collab introduces data science agent. Okay, I'm not going to dive into all those. I'll show you them in just a second. But let's continue moving on past this workflow. Next up, what we're doing, we're summarizing all this information to actually make it be a little bit readable, more presentable, whatever you want to name it. So all we do is we drag this output into this text right here, and let's open up this prompt. So what I'm saying is you are to summarize this information to only give me the insightful information. Give me a summary of the information that you find, but include key details. For example, if you find that a new model is released, spelled that wrong, but that's okay, then provide that as a piece in your output mentioning what released, associated information with it, etc. Ensure that for every topic you include a specific source. Be sure to number each topic. Ensure your output does not include HTML, Markdown, and so on. It should be in plain text. Okay, let's go ahead and test this out and let's see what we get. All right, here's what we have. So number 1, we have Accenture has collaborated. Not going to dive into that again, but we can see everything is combined. Now the next node is actually going to be sending a message to me in Slack. Now this is actually using the human in the loop node. So it's relatively new. If we go down here, I go to human in the loop, I go to Slack, and then we're clicking on it, and this is what we get. So what I'm saying is, here's the news from, I included an expression that just subtracts the current date. So we did now minus the days. So I just want to do 1 day previously, and then we're just formatting the current date a little bit, and we're providing the contents from the previous node. And what we get, if we test this out, it's now saying waiting for input, and it's going to basically just wait for Meet to respond to it. So what we're doing in particular is we're submitting a custom form for Meet to reply to and provide my input in. So we could say the field name is what topics would you like to create content on? The element type is going to be text. For the placeholder, that's just an example. Now, we also include a limit wait time. So if 10 hours passes and I don't reply, then it's just going to cancel this run and not do anything. But in any case, let me go to my Slack channel. And here, if we scroll down, we have news from March 3rd, 2025. So Accenture has collaborated with Auras, Microsoft, Anthropic, ZTE, and Google Collab. So let's choose one of these that we actually want to pursue and create a script on, or a video on, I should say, instead. So which one would probably be the most interesting? I would say number 2, and let's actually open up our form. So this is what the form actually looks like. And let's also choose number 5. So I'm going to submit this. It's going to say, got it, thanks. And it's going to start running the system a little bit. Okay, so what topics would you like to create on? Number 2 and number 5, as we can see. Now let's pass this to the next node. This next node is just going to be using an OpenAI module. And what we're doing here, we say you are to determine which topics the user is talking about. So here's the topics they requested to pursue. So that's where I provide the topics right here. I'm just dragging and dropping this. That's from the Slack node. And then I also say you are then to determine which topics from this Perplexity input that they are referring to from the Perplexity input, and only output these topics. For example, if the input is 2, we're just giving some examples. And then we also provide the earlier content. So that's where we're giving it some context. In any case, let's scroll down. Something super important is we want to output this content as JSON. So if I test this step right now, it's going to take a few seconds to generate, but it's going to be separate schemas, not just one singular item. We have 2 different things right here. So the table, it's coming up as one item, but if we go into the schema, we have 2 different items right here. So number 2 and number 5. If we don't output this content as JSON, it's just going to be one schema. Let these little blocks right here represent a schema. In any case, let's move on. What we want to do is we actually want to split out these nodes so that any further research that we do on these topics, it's going to research one at a time. And later on, it's only going to create one script at a time. So if we open up the split out, all we're doing is we're just splitting out this message content. So I literally just type message.content, and you can include no other fields. So if I open this, or if I run this, I should say, you'll see that it's running 2 different items now. And now what we're doing next is we're running an agent to basically research all these topics a little bit further. Now in this example, we are using OpenRouter because we're using Perplexity's Sonar reasoning. So you can use whatever model you would like to do further research. You can use deep research, again, if you would like to research these topics even further and get more insights, which will thus just create more insightful scripts for you. But we're just going to be using the Perplexity Sonar reasoning. What I say is you are to research this topic further and grab all the information that you could find out about it. Use the sources provided and additional sources for the most unbiased results. That's where I give it the topic. So that would be the JSON message.content, just dragging and dropping that right here. So we can see that this is 2 items. So one, it's only showing one at a time right now, but if we go to the table, here's 2 different items. So it's going to run once at a time. So let me just show you what I mean. It's probably best if I do this in practice. So we're just going to run this and we will see what we get. I'll come back to you guys in a second once it finished generating. Okay, just finished running. We can see that it outputted 2 different results. So it did research 2 different times. So here's below is a comprehensive summary of what's being reported, or what's been reported. If I open this up a little bit further, we will see Microsoft Dragon Copilot based on an initial AI weekly report and corroborating details from additional technology and healthcare news outlets. So it's just going super in depth on each topic. As you can see, it's providing us as much information as it can find. We're not going to dive into that too much because we're going to be focusing on creating a script out of that. So if we back up a little bit, what we're doing is just providing the previous context. So if I open this up really quick, you will see we're grabbing this output, we're dragging it right here. So what I say right here is here's the output to create your script from. And we provide it with a lot more context than that. So I say, based on this input, you need to create just one short form script for my video. The column output that you generate for the script should be named script. And then we're also having it output a column called, what did I name it exactly? I'll have to see. I believe it was title. But in any case, what we're doing down here is we're giving it a bunch of different examples. If you're not familiar already, I preach this so many times on my YouTube channel, but examples in your prompts allows you to bring a successful output from 70, 80% to 90% or 99%. So it really just allows you to, or allows your agents to reference something, that it finds it or deems it to be successful. So if we close this out and test this out, I will show you the second prompt in a second while this is generating. I also say you must also generate a title based on the script and generate for the video to be referenced by. It is always to be one sentence and encompass the video. So we can see right here how Dragon Copilot is transforming healthcare with AI. So let's read off the script. Hey everyone, today I'm breaking down Microsoft's new Dragon Copilot launched on, we could actually remove this part where it says launched on March 3rd, because I think that's a bit redundant. This AI voice assistant is built specifically for healthcare, letting doctors record notes in real time and automatically updating patient records. It is designed to reduce administrative tasks, managing appointments, retrieving patient history, and even flagging data errors so that doctors can focus on care. Plus, it seamlessly integrates with popular EHR systems while meeting top security and HIPAA standards. Early feedback is promising, with pilot hospitals seeing faster documentation and improved patient interactions. For more updates, be sure to check out the full video linked to my bio. So usually I'll be including full video tutorials, but we're also going to want to remove that because that call to action just isn't going to be relevant for something like this, because right now I don't have a full video on this. Number two, we have Google's data science agent is revolutionizing data workflow automation. So Google just dropped a game changer in the data space, and I'll allow you to read that for yourself if you would like. But anyways, what we're doing is we're including the output content as JSON as well, because we want these to be separate schemas. So the video title is going to be something separate and the script is going to be something separate as well. Why we do that is because we're going to be separating these into two different tasks within ClickUp. If I open this up, all we're doing is just creating a resource task in my specific folder or in my workspace. Now, if I test this out, I don't want to dive into that too much. If I open this up and ClickUp, we will see that I have something. Let me back out. If we go to right here, you'll see Google's data science agent is revolutionizing data workflow automation. So it just includes the script right there. And we should have another one coming in another second. So let me go ahead and find this. Is it tech pledges 320 billion for AI infrastructure? I believe that was it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to show you guys. So that is how you can use deep research within n8n to allow yourself or allow your agents access to these insane models, which I believe are the best out there. It's better than OpenAI's deep research and anything else that I've found. So I highly recommend you hop on this. Even though it's not able to be integrated easily with n8n, you do have to use HTTP requests, but it's just one extra node that you have to implement. But in any case, let me know what you guys think down below. Hopefully you found some value in this video. And if you do want to get access to this template, or if you just want to learn about AI automations and how to get ahead in this space and give yourself just an unfair advantage, then check out the link down below in the description. Join my community, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all in there. But in any case, thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you in the next video.